Today we're going to learn prime factorization. All right. Now, prime factorization is when you take a number that's not prime and make it into a product of primes. Okay, product means multiply. When you multiply a series of prime numbers together to equal what your starting number, then you have factored out your beginning number. Now, before you can find what a product of primes is, you got to know what a prime number is. A prime number is only divisible by 1 in itself. So an example of a prime number would be 11. Nothing will go into 11 except 1. 11 divided by 1 is even. And 11 divided by 11 is 1. So that's even. But nothing else will. So a number that's only divisible by 1 in itself is prime. Now, a number that's divisible by more things than 1 in itself, because every number is divisible by 1 in itself, is composite. So an example of a composite number would be 4. Okay, 1 goes into 4, 4 goes into 4, but also 2 goes into 4. Since more than 2 things go into it, since more than 1 in itself goes into it, it's composite. Another composite number would be 10. 2 goes into it, 5 goes into it, 10 goes into it, and 1 goes into it. Okay? Another prime number would be like 23. The only thing that goes into 23, added to our list of primes, everything we have listed here is a prime number because all that will go into it is 1 in itself. Number 7, nothing goes into 7 except 7 and 1. 59, nothing goes into 59 except for 1 and 59. However, our composite numbers, 99, 11 will go into it, 9 will go into it, 22, 11 will go into it, 2 will go into it, 76, 2, we know 2 will go into it because it's even. Okay? So, we're going to take a number like 16 and make it a product of prime numbers. Now, our first example to find the product of primes on is the number 16. So here's what you do. Stop what you're doing. Don't do it the way you've learned. I want to teach you a new way. Alright? Draw a line like this on 16. Be quiet. Draw a line like that on 16. Now, think of the smallest number that will go into 16. 2. Since it's even, if it's even, 2 always goes into it. So 2 times what? 8. Okay, now draw another line on 8. What's the smallest number that will go into 8? 2. If it's even, 2 is the smallest number. You understand? Okay? So 2 times 4. Now, what will go into 4? 2. 2 times 2. Okay? Now, what are my prime numbers here?
2.
2 all the way down. Okay? 2 all the way down. So what's my product of primes? 2 to the what power?
4.
Fourth power, because there's 4 2's. So here's your answer right here. Okay? Now, yes, you could have done the factor tree as well. Okay, and watch how it's exactly the same. 2 times 8. 2 times 4. 2 times 2. Now look at this. 2's all the way down, it goes down and to the left. On your factor tree, down to the left. It's the exact same thing. Okay? I like this better though because it's cleaner. Okay, so your prime factorization of 16 is 2 to the 4th power. Alright? Now we have to do the same thing for the number 72. I like to draw a line, and what will go into 72? It's even, so say 2. 2 times 36. What will go into 36? It's even, so say 2. What will go into, and 2 times 18. So what will go into 18? 2 times what? 9. Now, 9 isn't even. So you're done with your 2's. But what is 9? It's 3 times 3. So now my prime factorization is 2 to the 3rd power
3 to the second.
Times 3 to the second power. You got to say times. 2 to the third power because there's 3 2s, times 3 to the second power because there's 2 3s. So here's your prime factorization right there. Now it's called a product of primes because you're multiplying prime numbers, right? There's no composite numbers in your answer except for the exponents, if it might be. Okay? So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is all prime numbers, isn't it? That's why it's called a product of primes. Examples here. And they want us to find the prime factorization of each. Okay? So I draw my line on 98, and I know 2 goes into 98 because it's even. 2 times 49. Now, you got to think, well, what will go into 49 because it's not even? Well, we know 7 times 7 is 49. Okay? Now, nothing goes into 7 because 7 is a what number? Prime. Okay? So you're done. All you have to do is write these times each other. 2 times 7 times 7 is your answer. But now we don't want to leave 7 as 7 times 7, do we?
No, sir.
We want to say 2 to the first power, because there's only 1, times 7 to the second power. Yes, ma'am. All right, we got another one over here. 105. Draw your line on 105. Now, what will go into 105? I like to say 5 will go into it, since it ends in 5, and 5 goes into it. 5 times what?
21.
21. Now, what goes into 21?
3.
3 times 7. Now, will anything go into 3 or 7?
No.
No. So your answer is 3 times 5 times 7. This is your product of primes because all 3 are prime, right? Now, I'd like you to say 3 to the first times 5 to the first times 7 to the first is your answer. Okay? But you got the prime factorization of 98 was 2 to the first times 7 squared. And the prime factorization of 105 was 3 times 5 times 7. Alright, now they're going to give us problems with variables as well. Okay? The 2 problems on the board each have variables. Don't worry about the variables. First, write out the 35. We'll write just the number. What goes into 35 since it ends in a 5? 5 does times 7. So you know that 35 is 5 times 7. And then just write the variables out beside it. Times x times y squared. Now that's the prime factorization of 35xy squared. Okay, now the same thing up here. What goes into 12? 2 times 6. What goes into 6? 2 times 3. So I've got 2 squared times 3 times what? X squared times z squared. Now, each of these is the prime factorization of the original problem. Okay, 12x squared z squared's prime factorization is 2 squared times 3 times x squared times z squared. Negative 80 is negative 1 times 80. Okay, now you find the prime factorization of 80. 80 is going to be 2 times 40. 40 is 2 times 20. 20 is 2 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. So the prime factorization of negative 80 is negative 1 times 2 to the 4th power, because there's 4 2 times 5. Now, if it was just positive 80, the answer would be 2 to the 4th times 5. But since it's negative 80, it's negative 1 times 2 to the 4th times 5. You do the second example just the same way. You find the prime factorization of 55, which is 5 times 11. And then you multiply negative 1 times it. So it would be negative 1 times 5 times 11. Okay, so here's your prime factorization of negative 55. Negative 1 times 5 times 11. Now today you learned how to find the prime factorization. You learned what a prime number was. A number divisible by 1 in itself. And you learn what a composite number was. A number divisible by 1, itself, and another number.